Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be some Apple news and rumors. This video is going to be about a foldable iPhone. So these reports come from one of my favorite Apple news reporters, and that is John Prosser. And in his recent report, he is stating that Apple has actually been testing two foldable iPhones in their Foxconn factory in China. Phone number one is rumored to be a dual screen model that uses two separate display panels connected by a hinge. It's basically two display panels that when you open it together, it basically makes one continuous image, which is a pretty cool idea, to be honest, because then you can just have bigger display phones and also be able to shrink them down when you want to put them in like your pocket. In the report, John Prosser also states that they look fairly continuous and seamless, which was one thing that I was really nervous about when I started reading about this, because a lot of foldable phones, they have a noticeable hinge on the actual display, and that really just takes away from the coolness factor of the phone. You can have an amazing foldable phone by all means, but if you have like a little bump on the actual hinge, that just turns me away from actually wanting a foldable phone. But if Apple is making like a seamless one that you literally do not notice that it is on a hinge, then that could be something interesting, and I think a lot of people would be kind of gravitating towards that versus some of the phones that are on the market already, because a lot of them that are currently available to buy do have a little tiny bump where the hinge is, and that's not good in my opinion. Foldable phones are a new thing, so obviously down the line as the tech progresses, that bump will essentially turn into nothing. But right now, since it's in the early stages, that's why those bumps and grooves are still on the displays of a lot of the phones. So that is the first phone that is rumored to be testing in China right now. The second phone is pretty similar, just a little bit different. Instead of two foldable display panels, it looks like the second phone that they're currently working on is actually just one display that just folds. What the reports say is that this phone is essentially going to be like clamshell mode for an iPhone, which I think this is actually really cool. It looks like this phone is actually going to be similar to some phones that are actually on the market right now, kind of like the Galaxy Z Flip or the Lenovo Moto Razr. These phones currently use foldable display panels, and I think it's a really cool idea. And it looks like the display that Apple is currently using on this second phone that's in testing is actually an OLED Samsung panel. It also looks like earlier in the year that Apple actually ordered a large number of Samsung foldable displays for testing. So they clearly do want to make a foldable phone. I think they're just really testing it out to see if it's actually worth it, because switching to an iPhone that's going to fold is going to be a pretty big deal. And you guys know how Apple works. They like to take technology that's already out there and just make it a little bit better most of the time. And I'm hoping that if they do bring a foldable phone to the market, that it's actually really good. But it looks like they will be using those Samsung panels like we just mentioned, which is pretty crazy, because that means if they do bring this to production, that Samsung is going to make a lot of money if they choose to go with the Samsung panels, which I don't know if they will or not. Now, what was the purpose of doing this testing right now? So what the report by John Prosser is saying is that they wanted to essentially get into that foldable phone market, and they came up with two designs, which was the two that we just talked about, and they were doing all this testing to essentially see which model that they want to continue with development on and possibly bring to market in the future. It looks like the majority of the testing was actually for the durability of the phone, because with a hinge on a phone, something that you're going to be, opening and closing multiple times a day, they want to make sure that the durability is there, because, if they bring a bunch of phones to market and they start breaking on the hinge all the time, that's obviously not going to be good. So it looks like that's what the primary source of all the testing was for, the durability. And according to reports, it looks like Apple has actually tested this durability by doing opening and closing tests over 100,000 times. Now, I feel bad if there was like an actual person doing the testing, because imagine like you're just opening and closing a phone all day. I'm sure they got a machine or a robot to do it, but just imagine 8 hours of that. No thank you. UDN also predicts that if a foldable iPhone actually comes to market, that it would be coming out in late 2022 or 2023 at the earliest. Now, I do think this rumor is pretty credible. One, because John Prosser is a very, very reliable source when it comes to Apple rumors. And two, because Apple has filed for a ton of patents in the last few years regarding foldable phone technology. Those reports have actually started as early as 2016. So this is definitely something that they are currently working on and have been planning for a little while now. Now, I don't think that they are going to, make like the iPhone 14 or 15 a foldable phone. What I think probably will happen is that the foldable phone technology will only be available for like a special edition phone. I could see it being like an iPhone SE refresh down the line, or just making its own brand new edition of iPhone called like the iPhone Flip or something like that. Pretty basic naming, but I definitely think it works. The one thing that I am very curious about when it comes to hearing news like this is if the market actually wants it, because I haven't heard personally like anybody say that they want a flip phone from Apple. I'm sure they would add some really, really cool features to the phone to make people want to get it more. For me personally, no need to make it flip or, make it into different shapes like origami. Like, I'm totally fine with how the phones are right now. But this is pretty exciting because, Apple likes to make things a little bit cooler than the competition, and I'm excited to see what they come up with if they actually do release a foldable iPhone in the next couple of years. But that is it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below of what you guys think about the foldable iPhone, and if you are someone who actually wants to get this, or if you're just going to pass and just get the regular phones. Other than that, please subscribe. Lots of content coming. The goal for the new year is to hit over 10,000 subs, and we are definitely on track to do that. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video.